Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos. Today's block is Delectable Mountains, and it finishes at approximately 9 inches by 15 inches. We use 2 layer cakes for this one block. Here is what the block looks like, and you could separate these out and have 2 blocks when you're trying to do your designs in different ways. This is one way you could put them. This is one half of the block and another half of another block, just to get the different colors you want. And this is one way to lay them out. Here's another way to lay them out, sort of a zigzag pattern. Down here I've got a link. If you click on this, if you're online, or scan it with your phone, it'll take you to my Pinterest board, and there are just tons and tons of different layouts for these Delectable Mountains. There's so much you can do with them. It's just, I couldn't put all of them on this paper. What you need to make one of these blocks is 2 10-inch squares or layer cakes. This is the fabric I'm using. This is the main fabric, the accent fabric, and I'm using low volume prints for the background fabric. And we'll go through that in just a minute. Here is one block. So this is 2 halves. This is one part and another part, and you'll see how we make those. Here are some others that I've done. I'm probably going to make this into a quilt. So this is what you get from another set of layer cakes, and then you can put them together like this. So you have your 2 different looks, and you can add to it. If you put them like this, that makes your big, it almost looks like that squash blossom we did before. And then to make this, to make the zigzag, you do something like this. And this is what the zigzag looks like if you put them together like this. So there are just a few ways you can put these together once you piece them. Let's see how to piece these now. I have my diagonal line drawn, and I'm going to go to the sewing machine. Here's my diagonal line, and on each side of this diagonal line we're going to stitch 1/4 inch away from the line, or a scant 1/4 inch away from the line. So on each side. Now I jumped ahead of myself and forgot to turn the camera on. Cut these in half on the diagonal line. Open them up, and you have 2 big half square triangles. And we're going to press the seams open. Here are the 2 large half square triangles. At this point they should measure just slightly over 9.5 inches. You can cut those down to 9.5 if you want to, but there's really not a need to unless you just want to. Now we're going to look at step 4. Position the half square triangle like this, in this direction. And these are important because you're going to do one half square triangle in this direction and the other in the opposite direction. And that gives you your left and your right sides of the block. And that's important when you want to do some of these layout options. And so just be sure you know what you want to do first before you cut them in opposite directions or the same direction. If you divide 9.5 inches by 4, you get 2 3/8 inches. We're going to take and cut this in 2 3/8 inch segments. And one of these segments might be slightly wider than the others, but I haven't noticed that it's a problem. It's just very small, maybe 1/8 inch. Now we look at the instructions again. And you see these are numbered up here, and then they're numbered down here. We're going to rearrange the strips so they'll look like this. So just move this over. This and this. So I just took the one from this end and put it over here, and then the next one and the next one. But just follow the diagram, and then before you sew anything, check the diagram to make sure it matches this direction. And what I do, I stack these like this, and when I take them to my sewing machine, I'll pick up the top two and stitch these together. Then I'll take these next two and stitch them together. Then I'll stitch these two together. So you're going to stitch them together in this order. However you do it, they have to be stitched like this. And then press the seams open. Here's one half of the Delectable Mountains, and it's been pressed open. Now we'll do the second half, and if we look at step 6, we're going to place the half square triangle in this position. Now we're going to cut this into 4 segments at 2 3/8. And again, look at the diagram to see how to rearrange them. And sew these together the same way. Press the seams open. And here's the other half of the block. For now, I'm going to leave these separate because I don't know how I want to put them in the quilt yet. If you wanted to sew them together, you just simply sew the sides together. You'll want to make sure that these match. When you sew them together, you want the point to be really nice. To do that, when you flip this over, these two seams, this seam here and the seam here, should stack. And you can see that if you're holding it up like this, kind of on the side, and you just scooch it over till it matches. And if you put this down and you can feel it with your fingers, and then you can also fold this back and see if those line up. And they don't line up exactly there, but so move them around till they line up. And you should line up this edge and this edge as well. And then stitch 1/4 inch all the way down. Here's another block I did before. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos.